It's that be right back meme.
All right, I think we're good to go,
Put the
Jake.
headphones on. Oh,
yes, yes, you got to make it look official.
Let me just turn this down a little bit so we're not killing anyone's ears.
And if that gets too loud at some points, we will turn that down and everything.
I wasn't ready. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
While I just get everything. See, I'm still new to this, so actually what I have to do is I have to go on my YouTube page and everything and monitor it so that way I can see everyone's chats. Because for some reason, it doesn't want to show the Facebook ones.
So that was something I saw because I was looking at doing some streaming for like streaming beats, like beat making live and everything. And that was something that was like one of the main things that people were kind of hitting home is restream sounds awesome until you have to talk to chat.
It really...
And then it's a pain in the butt.
No, it's super cool. No, I really like how I'm able to connect with everyone. And like we're going live on like 10 different platforms. But at the same time, like the whole embedding and the coding, it brings me back to MySpace. Do you remember MySpace?
I was like the first group of kids that really didn't get into MySpace.
Oh, really,
Yeah,
man?
yeah.
I loved MySpace.
It was like that 1 year where like a buddy of mine at the time who was like a year older was like kind of into it. And I really didn't care.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay. It was super cool though, and at the time it was really cool because it taught kids like coding. It really did. Like you had to code your whole design and everything. And dude, I wish Facebook kind of took that because you could just add the stupidest shit to your MySpace. You could add yeah. I'm not gonna go into it, but all right. So before we get into the intro, this is Jake. Jake, give a good introduction to yourself.
Hi, my name is Jake Bartolin, aka Gramafone, aka that guy who makes music sometimes. But, and I am a singer-songwriter / producer / composer / performer / whatever, engineer, mix engineer, mastering engineer. I do a lot of stuff.
He's like Childish Gambino. That's pretty much what you're like. What Donald Glover, is that his name?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, like a man of many talents. You're like a widespread all over the.
Yeah, I do a little bit of everything. A lot of the stuff that I've been doing lately is like working with other artists, kind of local artists.
We'll talk about that as well.
Yeah. Like we can get into that. But I mean, long story short, I mean, that's pretty much what I do is I just make all sorts of music.
That's really cool, dude. That's really cool. So stay tuned, everyone. We're going to get into this. But first, let me just play the intro. Grab your cup of coffee. It is 6 o'clock. So grab a drink, whatever it is.
You're going to need coffee.
Yeah.
6 o'clock. Maybe not coffee, but...
I couldn't hear that. I hope you heard that. I mean, this like he came over and we're using his what's it called, interface, because mine is cheap and I only have one. So yeah, hopefully it works and everything. But other than that, so I wanted to talk to you about like what was your inspiration? Like I met you when I was in college, when I was in my band with Department 57, and when I met you, dude, like you didn't even go to college, and you had all these college kids like fucking threatened because like you were so good, and you really are good. So what is your inspiration? What like inspired you to be who you are now?
So the biggest thing that inspired me to want to be a musician was the fact that I was hanging out with a bunch of my friends, and I was trying to get with this one girl in 7th grade, which I was super friend zoned with and didn't realize it.
Oh, no.
And then they were playing some music at a party, and I mumbled, and everybody was like, "Wow, Jake can sing!" And
that's how it always happens.
Then I bought a guitar because I thought girls would like that, and it didn't work. So, and then one thing led to another, and now we're here.
So
I was lied to. It was basically what it was.
It's funny because the complete opposite thing happened for me, but like that's okay. It happens for some people, and I don't know, man, but like your music is really good. And what was your like inspiration to your style? I guess I should say. And how did you make it your own?
So. Growing up, the first music that I really got into that wasn't like just like 20s pop was my cousin actually got me interested in a lot of metal, of all things.
Dude, metal's really good for music though.
So like so much Killswitch Engage. Much Killswitch Engage.
I was more System of the Down and like all that
System
stuff.
Of Down.
I love that stuff, you know, and Rage Against.
I got I want to say it was Minutes to Midnight Linkin Park CD at
Linkin
one
Park,
point.
okay,
Back when
okay.
people bought CDs.
I still buy CDs. It's such a dying. I love CDs though.
Oh, they're great.
They are. They really are a great thing.
And then from there, I ended up through Pandora. It kind of ended up shifting closer towards more like pop punk.
Okay.
And then I got into a ton of Rise Against, which is kind of where my love of like really like metaphorical lyrics comes from,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
I mean, like Rise Against, Savior, kills me not to know this, but just forgotten what the color of her eyes were, her scars, or how she got them. And then the line, as the telling signs of age rain down, a single tear is falling through the valleys of an aging face that this world has forgotten. And I'm like, woo!
Damn.
So yeah, Tim
Juicy.
McGrath, guy can write some lyrics.
Yeah.
And then from there, I ended up listening to a bunch of Blink-182 because there's an angsty teen.
Come on, yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
And then one day, Corey Hale, who I think is coming on.
Yes,
at some point.
Corey Hale will be coming on the show. I think next week.
Yeah. So I went to high school with him, and basically one day he came in, and he was like the only like other tenor in the chorus.
Yep.
And he's like, because we both played guitar, right? Yeah. So he was like, hey, do you know who's really good at guitar? And I was like, who? And he's like, John Mayer. And I was like, John Mayer? Who's John Mayer? And he was like, oh, I gotta show you this. And he shows me like John, like, like at that time, like I only really knew him as that
Gravity.
one guy that, not even Gravity. It was like Waiting on the World to Change and
True. Yep.
No Such Thing and like that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So that's the only way from like my parents' radio stations. And he shows me like there's a couple videos of this guy just like shredding, and I'm like, whoa.
Was it the acoustic one?
It was a montage.
Okay.
So, and then from there, I fell down a giant John Mayer hole. Basically, I can pretty much pick out all the words to every album from Room for Squares all the way up to Continuum, at least.
So
Not
he
so
was
much
your
Battle
teacher.
Stage.
So he was pretty much the
for
one
most
that,
part.
yeah.
And so actually, if you listen to like my first solo album, 7 songs, whatever. But the opening track to that, 17th Street, it's got this like fast kind of guitar line.
I remember when you made that.
That's very similar to the intro to No Such Thing.
Okay.
And that's kind of where that came from.
Yeah, inspiration and everything.
Yeah, except
wow.
I'm not, at the time I wasn't nearly as good at guitar as Mayer was, so I
No one, you know what, dude? No one can ever be. No one can ever be, man. I mean, I play Daughters. Every time I play Daughters, I'm like, it just doesn't sound
not
as
the
good.
same.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I don't have that $5,000 Martin, that he's jamming on, which, damn, that's a
and
beaut.
then, but from there, that is beautiful.
It is beautiful.
I know where you're going with that. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay. Keep going.
And then from there, I listened to like a whole bunch of John Mayer for years and years and years. And then Corey kind of got me more into like the Southern rock, like blues, jazz kind of sort of stuff.
Okay.
My senior year of high school, I played in the jazz band. Excuse me.
It's okay.
It's Dr. Pepper.
It's all just Dr. Pepper, people.
Just Dr. Pepper, guys. But no. So I played in the jazz band in high school, and it was kind of cool because like there I could like playing guitar, I could kind of like do the more like solo-y kind of sort of stuff every now and then.
It's a lot of fun.
And from there I think I ended up taking a trip down hip hop lane. Chance the Rapper's acid rap.
Oh my God.
I heard that towards the end of my senior year. I was up visiting you guys at Plymouth, and
Corey was all about.
Oh,
that.
dude. Well, that's the album that got me into hip hop.
Yeah, he was all about that.
And so I listened to a whole bunch of Chance for a while, and I was just like got really into like hip hop production, and then I guess at this point I've kind of come full circle. I'm back to more of like lately I've been back to listening to a lot of like pop rock kind of sort of stuff.
Yep.
So I've been listening to a lot of like Ben Camino. The new Halsey album has one song on at 3 a.m. I don't know if you heard.
I'm not really much of a Halsey person.
It sounds like something like right out of the 90s.
Really?
Yeah, it's a good track.
Okay.
Like it's like you get like it's like all like 2010s, 2020s pop, and then just this one track is like out of nowhere, just kind of like okay.
90s synth, 90s drum and everything. Michael Jackson, like
no, it's like pop rock. Think more like Third Eye Blind kind of sort of.
Okay, like Paralyzer, kind of.
Yeah,
all
kinda
right,
like that.
all right.
So it's like
That was a great song.
Which, I mean, she killed it. Like,
Yeah.
I think her background is in like alt rock kind of sort of
Okay,
music. I think
okay.
that's kind of where she came from. But
She was more of like, I felt like she was more soulfully when I listened to her
Yeah.
with the piano, right? Because that's what she used to play, piano.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's what I remember hearing her as. So now this is what I want to ask you, because now it seems to me that you started off playing music, and that's where the love for the music came from, and it started in, I'd say, early high school and then on to college until now. When did you kind of start piecing together that you could be a producer? Because that's cool. That's not many people can do that.
Yeah. So the start of the whole production thing was for a while it was my biggest hurdle when like making music. I've found now is lyrics. But at the time, I thought it was I just couldn't. I had like a lot of like writer's block. I couldn't write very much, and I was really into like mixing, mastering, that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to like have stuff to just EQ and compress and do
Just
all
have
sorts of
fun.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
And so a lot of it was like my first like project that I really did was a it was like a Christmas benefit album in high school. It was more like an EP, but basically I just recorded a bunch of kids in our high school.
Okay.
And then put together like an album. Listening to it now sounds like hot garbage, but it's
But that's the first steps, you know?
absolutely. And it is cool like being able to listen to it and be like, wow, I've gotten a lot better.
Isn't it funny when, like, I always laugh at this because I did something similar when I was in high school. I don't know if you guys did this, but we did like a lip sync thing. We did like a battle of the lip syncs.
For Winter Carnival.
So yeah, I for my grade, I was a guy that would piece together the lip syncs, and that was a fucking nightmare.
Oh yeah,
that's a fucking nightmare because literally what you're doing is you're downloading clips, and then you had to convert the YouTube to Wave, and then
Wave,
place them into the
yep.
tracks, and then this isn't on time because Brittany needs to go exactly like this, and you're like, fuck.
And then it comes out to like 5 minutes and 12 seconds, and the teacher's like, it needs to be 5 minutes.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
And then you listen back to it now. Like I listened to it like years ago because I have it on a CD and I played it in my car and it just sounded like shit.
Yep.
But it's funny because you listen to it again and you're like, what could I have done better? How could I have made this? And you're like, you can just figure it all out. And
that's why I really there's like a cycle that I go through whenever I finish a track. It's like there's like as it's getting pieced together, I'm kind of like, this is a pretty good song.
Goes to highs and lows.
And then it gets better and better and better. And then like when I'm done with it, I'm like, this is really good, and I start showing everybody. And then once about a week later, I'll listen to it again. I'm like,
yeah.
maybe not so much.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much.
I did that recently. I don't know if you heard the songs I did. I did like their whole rap thing. I got really bored and I just like I made like a few rap beats and everything. And they're actually like, I still think they're pretty catchy, but like I remember waking up at like 10 o'clock in the morning and I just did the vocals.
Yep.
Worst decision I could have ever fucking done. Like literally, because if you listen to it, it's very sloppy. But I was more interested in making the beats and everything. I wasn't focused on the fucking vocals. So yeah, no, that's really cool, man. That's really cool. And you work with how many artists right now?
Right now?
Talk about who you're.
So, I mean, I don't know if you could really count. Sometimes I'll like hang out with Corey and we'll like throw together something that's like
That
kind of
counts,
fun.
man. That
Kinda
counts. You
I
post
guess.
it on the Instagrams and stuff like that,
Yeah. So let me see here. So I work with Kiana Peralt.
Yep.
Right. I work with
And if
David Corson.
Yep. Go check these people out, guys.
Yeah. I worked with, of course, T-Rex. Tyler
T-Rex.
Sinclair.
Yep.
Probably out of all the people I've worked with for a while, he's probably the person I've worked with the most.
Yeah, him and David, I would say too.
Yeah,
you and David do a lot of work together, which is great because you guys make, I feel like, a really good team, and he makes a lot of good music, man.
Oh, dude, the kid can write.
Yeah, really, really deep shit, man. Like next level. I actually, when I played at the Flight Dover, was that what it was? Yeah, it was a little coffee shop, and a few of my fans came out and they were listening to David, and they're just like, whoa. His lyrics are deep, man. And I was like, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, who's that guy that was like, he did the musical One or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, I fucking forget. I forget his name. He's kind of like him, but he's like on a next level. You know what I mean? David just brings it to a whole nother level. But Yeah, so talk about now, like, I don't know if I want to bring it into the college stories yet, because you and I, you're telling me some funny stories that I totally forgot about. So let me just see where we're at right now. We're at 14 minutes. Let's talk a little bit more about like past gigs that you've done, because I remember there was...
So as like a... I don't really perform out as much as I'd like to.
Yeah.
So as far as like past gigs, I mean, I've like done, of course I did like the whole gamut of all the high school stuff, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I've played a bunch of like open mics, but really it's only been like a couple like full-sized gigs that I've done here and there.
Yep.
And so like as far as like live performance go, it's actually, David was saying that, he's been working on this like residency that he's got.
Yep.
Right. And so he was like, if I need somebody that's like a backup or something, like if I'm sick one day, he's like, it'd be awesome to be able to call you. So
yeah.
I've just been like past couple like months have just been basically rehearsing in my studio. And
yeah.
Just kind of like,
yeah.
But as far as like playing out, I really don't play out that much.
You played out with what? You played out with us one time at Byfield Music Festival. That was a friggin' great time.
That was a great time.
When I look back at it, if you saw me, you probably would have thought I was on cocaine, because I had so much energy in me. I was so hyped. Like that was like, when you're a college kid and you're playing at a music festival. Oh yeah. That to me was like we were it. And then we bring you in, and then like I remember you showed up and you're like, I just put brand new strings on, and then Corey just looks at me and goes, why? And I was like, hey man, I remember like I didn't say anything, but I can't tell you how many times I've done that. You know what I mean? Like there's been times where if I'm feeling it, I'll put on new strings or something like that. But yo, you killed it. You were very...
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's like, I've kind of learned over the years is most of my music chops tend to be in like recorded music.
Yeah.
Hands down.
What do you mean?
Like anything that like, so like when people like talk about, what's the best way to put it? It's like when you're listening to music as a recording, it's a wholly different experience than if you're listening to music live. Mm-hmm. Right? Which is why like for example, I would never ever suggest anybody do a 12-minute jam in the middle of like a studio track. Terrible idea.
Oh, that's a bad decision.
Right, but
that's
if you're playing
a bad
live,
decision. You can easily do that. Yeah. You make that radio version, that 3-minute, like I had
3-4 minute, if it's a jam, okay.
Oh yeah.
Do like 16 bars, maybe 32 if you're like really brave, but
isn't it crazy?
You're not going to do 12 minutes.
Isn't it crazy though to think about that, because you're probably someone that knows that, because when you're recording a song and when you're a producer, me being a musician and going into the studio, I know this is because there's like an algorithm to it. There's like a whole science to writing a hit song, especially for the radio, like it has to be about this long. It can't a beat, not too much, the solo not too long. You want it short and sweet. And the best advice that I ever heard was from, I think it was from Huey Lewis, and he said, no, it's from Steve Miller. He said the best way to make artists, the best way to make music is you got to capture them in the first 4 seconds of your song.
Yep, absolutely. I will agree with that 10,000%.
First 4 seconds.
Unless the only exceptions to that, I think, is when you get into the world of albums. Then you have a little bit of a different beast. So like you can do like an album of nothing but hits, but it gets real old real quick.
Yeah, that's true.
And like this is like the kind of stuff that like when I'm talking to like some artists and they'll like come in and they'll say, all right, I want to do, I got a couple songs, and I'm like, okay, do you want to do like a long EP or do you want to do a series of singles? Because if you want to do a long EP, then, we can kind of mix it up a little bit.
Yep.
We can have one song that's got that like, super long intro, and we can have another song that like starts immediately, and then we can have another song that is like 5 minutes of nothing but jam. Like,
but then you have that. There's a pro to that. Then there's that con. There's always that pros and cons. It's like you could have that 5 minute. That first song be the intro to your album, but then like you got to captivate that first. You know what I mean? You got to capture that whole image of your EP in that first song. And are you really going to do that with just a little intro? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because I tried to do that with my EP and it failed.
Yeah.
The one thing I really wanted to do with my EP was make sure that kind of blended into each other. That's what that was my biggest thing. And I think it's Home and it goes into Too Young, but it actually goes into the next track. It like if you listen to it, it goes into it. And I got that from actually Jason Mraz when he recorded Love Is a 4-letter word, every song blended into the next. I think that's so cool.
Yeah. There's a lot of work that goes into that.
You know, and there's
Yep.
a lot, and you know, a lot of bands from the '80s did that. You know, like Pink Floyd. You know, they were great with doing that. And I don't know. I just think that stuff is amazing when an artist does that.
Yep.
It's really cool. But yeah. Is there anything like that?
I mean, not so much specifically on like the point of what's the term? On like I mean, on one hand, there's not really anything else. On the other hand, there's a lot. I think when it comes to figuring out if you want to do an album or you want to do like a bunch of EPs, because I mean, I imagine you have some musicians that listen at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, of course.
So like just when you guys are kind of thinking about it, the biggest thing would just be figure out if the songs fit together, and they don't even necessarily have to like fit together like sonically, because to an extent the producer or the engineer that you're working with can kind of figure that out.
Yeah,
right.
No, that's good advice.
But it's moreover like thematically, right? Like I was talking to David.
Ooh, that's a
right?
good word. Thematically.
Well, I was talking to him, and he recently finished up a recording up a it's no secret, so like a live acoustic EP. Right?
Oh, okay.
And it's got a bunch of songs that he's written.
I'm sorry, who is this?
David.
Oh, David. Shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Keep on.
And so, which is crazy. He's like super great performer. So he just like came in and just like busted them all out. The whole thing was like done in like 2 hours.
Oh
madness.
wow, that's nice.
Which
that's
is cool.
nice. That's nice.
But so, where does it go with this? Right. So when you're doing that, right, he was trying to figure out what songs he wants to do. And right now his last major release was Tabula Rasa, right?
Yep.
Which was like 2015.
Yep.
Right. And this was like a bunch of like, heartbreak songs, right? Kind of about like moving on, that kind of sort of thing. And then he's got sort of like the new songs that he's been writing, which is more about like nostalgia, memories, thinking back yesterday, that kind of sort of stuff, right? So it's kind of like two themes where like with, Tabula Rasa, even visually, he had a bunch of stuff that was more like based on like hand-drawn, right? Like sketches and stuff. He had like that one EP, right? Like Her Heart her, I think it was My Heart.
Eyes.
Well, there was, no. It was the EP that he put on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
It was like My Heart in Her Hands or something like that. And it was like a sketch of like this girl holding a world, right?
Okay.
And then there was, of course, Tabula Rasa that he did, right? Which was another hand sketch thing. And so I was talking to him about what we should do for the album. And, I was saying with the latest songs that he's done, it's been more like photographs with like little captions on them.
Oh,
He's kind of like drawn on.
I've seen that. Yep.
That's sort of like the visual style. So I was like, what if you tried to do kind of like a combination of that? Right? And back to like it thematically, when you're thinking about what you want to do for like an EP or an album or something, how does that fit in the story of you as an artist?
Yeah.
Like David's like, okay, there's the heartbreak era, right? Which was
a chapter,
right.
like a good. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like Young David, which was like Her Eyes, that song for Victoria.
Yep. I remember that stuff.
Those kind of tunes. And then he's got the Heartbreak era.
Yep.
And then now he's kind of moving into more of the nostalgia era.
Yeah, the changing and the growing up and kind of looking back and saying, that's funny you say that. That's because that's similar to a lot of phases that I've seen in musicians. You go through the phases, and I do that too.
Yep.
You go through like little chapters, all right, I've written all the sappy love songs. I can't write any more sappy love songs.
Right.
I'm going to write about this,
Yeah.
And it's funny because you make it like that's what you're into. That's all you're doing. You're writing those, and you're trying to do it until you end up mastering it, until you can sit down and just fucking bust out that kind of meaning message. You know what I mean? And Now you're kind of talking about if. In a way, you're giving advice to musicians. Now, is there other kind of advice that you can give to aspiring musicians or people that are trying or like to write a song?
So I could do, well, number one, if you're going to go to a studio, please, for the love of all that is holy, learn to play to a click track.
Please. It's hard. It is hard.
Especially if you're working with like a bedroom producer or somebody that's not professional. Like if you're going to a pro studio, they have tools that will allow them to compensate for, a drifting tempo.
Yeah.
But like if I'm working with David, right? And because like a lot of bedroom producers, and like I'll say it too, like sometimes we'll just use MIDI drums.
Yep.
Right? If it's like a quick single that we just want to slap out, I mean, obviously, you know, a real drummer's going to bring way more energy to a track, but like if you're just trying to get something out, you want to throw it on Instagram
Exactly.
or a hip hop track.
SoundCloud. Exactly. Hip hop tracks you never do.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, when you go to record something like that, like being able to play to a click track is huge.
It's very hard. When I recorded Lifted, the producer I was working on, we actually had to spend a whole week just practicing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because I was such a virgin to, you know, metro singing. You know, what is it called? Metronome singing to a click. That I was garbage, dude.
Yeah.
That's really good advice, honestly, because it is a
the
key.
single biggest thing.
Yeah, it really is. Playing with the metronome. Just play with the metronome. Just go on your phone, search up a metronome, and just play. I do that all the time now, believe it or not. I'll do scales, and I do it with a metronome. And one thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to play scales on my guitar with my eyes closed. And just do it.
Yeah,
and I'm doing it really well.
The other thing that the other thing I could give for like advice, this is just like basic advice, is like practice, and then if you think you've practiced enough, continue practicing. Specifically, because if you need to be able to hold a conversation while playing the song.
That's so true.
Is kind of where, because if you can do that, then you can spend more time in the studio going like, oh, you know what would be really cool is if we added like drums here. Let me get the drums. I'm gonna get the drums. No. Hold on. Give me 5 minutes. All right. You go take a bathroom break.
That's
put the
so
drums on
true.
this.
Yeah.
Like then you're spending more time. You know, like first time the producer hears the track, he's gonna be like, he's gonna a billion ideas. You know, he or she, right?
Yep.
Billion ideas pop into their head, and they're gonna be like, wow, this could really use a synth. This could really use, you know, a really loud electric guitar here. You know, stuff like that. But then if they're listening to it and you're constantly falling off tempo, they're gonna have to stop it, start it again, start it again, and then by the time that happens, they've heard it a billion times already, and they're used to how it sounds without anything.
And they want to do something completely different. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So, and then I guess the last thing is more like just for musicians in general. I follow a producer who's Curtis King. I don't know if I think I told you about him before.
All I remember from the other night was Reed Stefan and how you remembered. No one knows who Reed Stefan is, and I literally was like, oh my god! It is like, but continue.
So Curtis King, shout out to Curtis King. His big thing is he kind of started so he's really big in the hip hop space.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Really, really big with like, you know, indie producers. Right. He's got a whole community of people that follow him, myself included.
Yep.
And the man gives out like some gems.
Okay, so good knowledge.
Like he just put out a YouTube video where he's talking about, you know, don't wait for people to validate your ideas as good. Just do it. Right.
That's good advice, man.
Yeah, and I mean, it was, like I said, a guy's got charisma, so like he can put it way better than I can. But
no, absolutely.
But the biggest thing that I've learned out of him is you need to treat your listeners as, let me think, maybe that's not the best way to put it. You need to respect your listeners' time, right? So if for example, if you've got somebody that has never heard your music, right? You are a complete stranger to them.
Yep.
They don't know you anything. You don't know them anything. Now you're asking it, not you specifically.
No, I'm going along with it.
You know, now you're asking them to listen to your song.
Yep.
Why should they?
That's a true. No, that I
right?
see. Yeah,
I mean, following this train of thought, right?
Yep.
Why should they? All right. Well, I got really dope album artwork. Cool. It's been done, and it's been done better.
There's always going to be people that do it better than you.
All right. Well, I got this really, really catchy hook. Cool. It's been done. It's been done better.
Yep.
It doesn't matter, right? Why? You know, it's like.
I'm sorry.
I mean, if I'm being honest, right?
No. I just love how you're like, it's been done and it's better.
Yeah, like you've whatever you're doing with music, unless you're like part of the 0.1% of truly gifted musicians.
Yeah.
You're not gonna make anything yourself.
It's very true. And we were talking about this the other night, how I was saying like it kind of feeding off of that, like these musicians that go into this industry that are just like, I'm going to play nothing but my originals. Mm-hmm. You can't do that. You cannot do, unless you are someone that you started music and you already have 5,000 fans on your Facebook page. Yep. You already have 1,000 people on your YouTube. Then absolutely go ahead, play your originals, because you're going to guarantee people out at your shows. But if you're someone that's going out for your first time, you got to play the most stereotypical fucking things, but make them your own. You know what I mean?
It comes down to, you know, how you might say like, Jake, how do I get people to listen to my stuff then? Right. If it's been done better by somebody else already.
Yep.
Right. The answer to that is you have to provide value. some kind of value, right? So, for example, why does your mom listen to your music? Because you're her son.
She's a very special boy.
Right. Like if, she's listening to your music, she gets extra value out of the fact that, that's my kid that made this, right?
Yes.
Your friends, right? You provide value because they know you, right? They can be like, oh, I know who he's talking about on that song, So they get more out of that song than the 100%. Average person. So the best way to, and just in general, move your music career has always been to just provide value.
Truth.
Right? Like
Truth.
if you're a producer, make some free beats, right?
Yeah.
If you're a singer-songwriter, put out your music all the time and just,
I know YouTube. And she was like, dude, you just keep doing it. Keep doing it. Even if you look like you're annoying people, just keep doing it. And it's true. Keep posting. Like, just keep posting material, like, all the time, every day, whatever you can. It's really important because it's just getting the word out there and everything, Yeah, no, that's really fascinating you brought that up. And now kind of steering away, like going to producers, what would be not just making free beats, but what would be another way to grow your business and to expand it?
So for like producers in the space, you have to think about, again, back to that providing value thing, right?
Correct.
So for example, there's one person that I got in touch with. One, it's networking. Right.
Oh,
that's just musicians.
Networking. Network yourselves, musicians, producers. Just start going to bars and everything and meeting people. Really.
Yep.
Go on. Go on.
So networking is going to be huge. And then the other thing that you need to do is back to that provide value thing. What are other ways you can provide value to people, right? Mm-hmm. So DMing somebody on, not just somebody, but 5,000 people on Instagram in a day and just like copy pasting the same message. Yo, bro, fire tracks. I got some beats, blah,
I hate
blah,
those messages.
Right?
I hate them.
They get old.
And I'm like, so boring.
You can kind of tell like, okay, what you need to do is you need to find somebody who who you have listened to their music. You've gone to their page. You've listened to what they have. They're doing already, right? Their style. You've kind of gotten familiar with a couple of their tracks. You kind of know what their music sounds like. And then you actually have to decide if your style of production is going to be beneficial to them. And if so, then you message them and you say, hey, I like what you did with X. I like this song because Y, and I want to help you do Z. Mm-hmm. And the first track is on me, right? Because now, one, you've shown that you actually care.
Shit, I wish I met you when I first started. Damn, man.
That's back to
first
Curtis
tracks
King, I'm telling
on
you,
me.
Right?
First, dude, producers, listen to that. That just I just got goosebumps, dude. The first track's on me, but that reels them right in, and they're gonna work with you, man. And you know what?
And even if they don't, so this is another thing: that's a filter.
Exposure.
Well, it's exposure. Right?
Yeah.
There's multiple levels to this. So one, it's exposure.
That's genius.
Two, it's a filter, right? Because if you start working with somebody and you're not really vibing, right? You're kind of like, they keep coming back and they're like, I don't know, I was really kind of thinking more like this, or I was kind of really thinking more like that. Like, all right, that's fine. Hey, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Then, okay, it might just not be somebody that, is a good musically compatible, right?
Yeah.
That was a sentence, but grammar just broke down.
That was a big one.
But, and then the other thing too is if you find somebody who you're vibing, it's great, right? Mm-hmm. And then they come back to you and they say, hey, I got this other track here. I really want to work with you, but I don't have the money. Then you have to make a decision.
Right.
If they're really good and you enjoy working with them, right, then you can say, okay, one more time.
Mm-hmm.
But if they keep coming back, then that might be a bridge you need to consider burning because if they're not going to, if they're, either they're not going to pay you or they're not going to give you a split of royalties. It doesn't cost anything to give you a split of royalties.
I have never seen royalties though, to be honest.
I've seen a couple, but it was like pennies.
$25 or like $5.
Yeah.
It's rough. It's rough.
Shit, where are you getting your money?
That might be an interesting. Well, that was once. The first time I ever got royalties, I believe it or not, I only got two. I got 2 royalty checks, and it was just into my bank, and then one was 25, and it was the first one after like a year because my EP's been out for like 2 years now, I think, and then the next one was $5. And I've never seen anything after that. Spotify, man. I mean, the way that might be an interesting topic that we could talk about.
Yeah. So Google Play, last I checked, pays the most per stream.
Yeah.
They still don't pay enough.
Yeah, I know it's not enough.
Tell you what, I will
break it down for them.
It is like 0.00001 cents per stream. So I'll put it this way, right? If I have released 50 albums, right? 50 albums of music, right? One person streams one of those songs every time, right? Mm-hmm. Another person buys a coffee mug with my name on it. The person buying the coffee mug will give me more money. Linus from Linus Tech Tips, a big YouTube channel, right? He was talking about, because it's a tech community, the big question there is ad blockers, right? A very large percentage.
What are ad blockers?
It's a program you run on your computer and it stops ads.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Oh, okay. I see what you. Okay.
And so it was a big thing because, right, it's they're a YouTube company, right?
Yep.
I mean, they make some money on AdSense.
Ads, yeah.
And and they have a subscription service where if you pay X amount of dollars, you get to watch the videos without the ads.
Yep.
Right? It's a Dr. Pepper.
People are like, "Where are the masks?" Oh my God.
It's like burps, I swear. But what was I saying? Right. So he was saying, this is a company. He's done one video every day for almost 10 years.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Across.
That's a long time.
So it used to just be the one channel. And now he's got Linus Tech Tips. He's got Tech Quickie.
I've seen some of his shit.
Yeah. He's got Tech Linked. They used to do like Channel Super Fun for a while. There's a couple channels that they kind of got going, right?
Yeah.
He said that if somebody goes through and watches the entire ad on YouTube, right, with 2 ads rolled per video,
okay,
right, every video he's ever made,
how much did that add up to?
Compare that's person X,
okay,
right? Person Y does the same thing but with ad blockers, right?
Yeah.
And then buys a shirt.
Okay.
Person Y has now contributed more money to the company than person X.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you the biggest takeaway I took from that is if you guys want to support like anybody, literally anybody, YouTubers,
go buy their
content
merch.
Creators, musicians, literally anyone, just buy their merch.
Buy the merch, honestly. Yeah,
that's
it's a huge thing. Yeah,
that's going to be the.
You know what breaks my heart is when I remember when I first made my EP, and literally there was times where like my faith in humanity dropped. No offense, but like it was when the people would message me and be like, "Hey, can I listen to it on Spotify?" And it's like, oh man, just. And you know what the other biggest thing is, and speaking of this, is if you're an artist, that I wish I told myself this years ago, is if you think you want to make an EP, before you spend that money on making an EP, because you're going to realize how much money you're going to make back from that, which is barely nothing. Don't waste your time on an EP. Make something a little bit bigger. You know what I mean? Yep. If you're gonna make something, don't spend $2,000 for 4 songs. When if you spend another $1,000, you could have a 12 song. Or you know what I mean? Like
there is a point where the return on investment is insane.
When my EP dropped and I realized that my 5 songs are making 90 cents each, I was like, oh fuck, because I thought I could adjust it or something like that. I wanted my EP to be worth $10, but it can't, because with Google Play and iTunes, it has to be one song is 99 cents. And I'm just like, this is brutal, dude. Yep. This is brutal.
There was back in the day, so Curtis King originally launched I keep talking about him, but the guy's smart. Right?
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that.
And so he launched like this like kind of like membership program thing, but I ended up being in the same like chat room as like a whole bunch of people who are just really driven and really really about like making music a full-time thing.
Yeah.
Right? And one person who was in there, Curtis had a couple mentors. These are like professional people that do this all the time, right?
Yep.
And, every now and then, like a couple times a week, they'd hop in and they'd like, talk to people, right?
Yeah.
Just casual conversations.
Absolutely.
And one of those conversations, I want to say, maybe it was Cato, or I don't think it was actually Cato. It was somebody else, right? But he was saying how if you're going to be an artist, right?
Yep.
Your costs of recording, your costs of distribution, your costs of production, of pretty much anything involved with actually making your music.
Wow.
Put it under advertising.
No, that's true though. You really got to think about advertising.
Right.
Yeah.
Consider all of those costs. If you are an artist and you are a business, right?
Yep.
All of those costs, just file them in your accounting. Just file it under advertising.
That's so true.
Because if you make any money back from streams, cool, it offsets the cost. But unless you're pulling in like thousands and thousands of streams a day, you're really not going to see enough money to make a difference. The biggest thing is again going to be your merch or like Patreons or stuff like that.
Patreons. That's another big thing a lot of people are doing.
Absolutely, because it comes to this idea that I saw somewhere else where you have 1,000 true fans, right?
Yep.
Could you, if you had to,
Yep.
Could you live off of $5,000 a month if you absolutely had to?
No.
No?
No.
I think I could. I
don't think I could.
maybe make it work.
Not with all my debt.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. All right. Yeah. I didn't go to college, so I keep forgetting people have that. All right. All right. Could you live off of $10,000 a month?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I mean, that's way too much, but yeah,
Right.
easily.
Could
Even
you-
7,000.
Right.
7,000,
Yeah.
you know?
Okay. So 7,000.
Yeah.
Right. Could you get to the point where you could provide enough value through like podcasts, music that you put out, random go live situations, stuff like that, where you could get one of your fans to pay you $7 a month between merch and a whole bunch of other stuff?
Yeah.
Could you get
Patreon.
1,000 fans?
I'm trying to.
But that so back to this idea. It's this idea of 1,000 true fans.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
If you can get
On Facebook, on my Facebook page, I have 1,000 true fans on my Facebook page.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On my Lou page.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
On when it comes to this is all new, so it's still gathering people for
well,
this.
I mean, this is part of what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's this idea of can you get this is Patreon really the Patreon community likes to push this idea, but it's 1,000 true fans. Can you make content that is valuable enough to 1,000 people for them to pay you $10 a month?
I mean, I think I could. If
1,000 people.
Yeah.
It's a big number.
It's a big.
but
It's a big
reasonable.
leap. It's a big leap. But like, I mean, with all the content and with the guests I want to have and everything, and the subjects we want to talk about, like, I would love to do that. But and it's funny because Patreon just started, didn't it? Is that a new thing?
It's been out for I'd probably say like 5-6 years.
5-6 years, yeah. Because I
It's
was
relatively new.
Relatively new, because I didn't hear about that when I was in college. And I mean, I remember when we were trying to, when we were in a band, I was trying. That's one thing we're always trying to figure out was how do we take the money from the gigs and divvy it up. And that was a fall, dude, because we were college kids, and like we would all just be so cheap and just be like, nah, we want our paycheck, like I want to go, I want to go buy some beer, I want to go buy some marijuana, that's what it'd be. And so it was tough because then you couldn't have that money to buy new equipment or produce or anything. So it's tough, man. It's tough, but
it's back to just getting the snowball rolling. If you can get to
Exactly.
the point where you can live off of the music, then now, if you had 40 hours a week to do just music, you can put 40 hours, like think about how much work, not specifically you, just like people in general.
in general.
Right? How much work do you get done in your day job per week, right?
Comment below how much.
Right. And think about that. Put that towards what you really want to do with your life, and just imagine how much you could actually get done. Right?
Yeah, I've heard that I've heard people talk about that before. If you think about it and break it down, and it's an interesting way to look at that.
And with that amount of work, right? With that amount of work that you've got, can you keep 1,000 people entertained enough to, whether that's making? I've seen some people make like D&D maps.
Yeah,
know,
really?
yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons?
Oh yeah,
What?
bro.
Wait,
That's a whole thing, dude.
Wait, for what? For like musicians?
No. Like on Patreon.
Making like a D&D map? Like,
Yeah.
what do you explain that to me? Explain that to
So
me.
this
'cause
is more just 1,000 true fans in general.
Okay.
Right? They'll make maps for Dungeons and Dragons, and they'll get patrons, right? Patrons who pay like $10 a month, and they tell their patrons, look, you're gonna get X number of new maps every month, and they'll make like they might make like, it's all like digital artwork, but they might make like an icy kind of map. And
Now,
then,
are
like,
these YouTubers that are or like people, influencers that are going for D&D or like?
no, these aren't even influencers. They're just people that like making maps.
That's fucking.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's what I'm saying.
That's super cool.
So,
do something like that. Take your
right.
hobby and
it doesn't have to be music. It doesn't have to be entertainment. It doesn't have to be influencers. It can be whatever you really want to, do. In fact, some people make figurines. They 3D print, they design, and then 3D print. Pop filter.
I know.
They design and 3D print like 3D figurines.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen
for D&D.
yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
that whole industry is huge.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, one thing I started doing was I started drawing and everything. Like, if you look over there, I have a few doodles and everything. And
Okay, yeah,
so
yeah.
like one thing I wanted to start doing is bringing those to my shows and stuff like that, and giving those to fans that are like really true fans,
Yeah.
because those are my pride and joys. But like to give those, like I already have like a list of like 5 to 10 people that I'm like when after all this is over and I go to a show, like I'm giving them that, and like that could be something that you could easily use for your Patreon or something like that. Giving that exclusive. That's really an interesting. Wow.
And that's how you provide value.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that you're going to do to provide, like, for example, I just finished up putting together a second sample pack, right? I had the first one, which was free,
Yep.
right? The second one, anybody can buy for $19.99,
Yep.
right? through my website and a whole bunch of
Hey,
stuff.
if you're someone that's trying to make music right now, and if you're a musician, I would go check his stuff out because it's actually very well put together.
Gramafonebeats.com.
Yeah, it's really actually your stuff is really well put together. Like it's not like sometimes when you get an audio pack, you get like 4 songs that are just like they're fucking like what the fuck did I just buy?
I try to like pack it full of like stuff.
You know what I
like,
mean?
Right.
And yours is kind of like it has a flow to it.
Right.
You know?
I expect people to maybe use like roughly 40 to 50% of what's in that pack.
Yeah.
And so I want to make it where if they only use that 40 to 50%, just that 40 to 50% is worth whatever I pay for.
That's
or
true.
Markup.
Yeah.
But then back to that providing value thing, right? There's a couple artists where I've been like, hey, you've liked my stuff. You've out of the blue commented and said, this sounds really good. I like XYZ, which means you actually listen to it. That's huge. And then, as just like a thing, I'm just like, hey, here's the sample pack. Here's a Dropbox link. Just download it.
Wow.
Just because
because
like I sent the same thing to Curtis. I was like, yo, listen, I'm like a tiny fish in a sea of followers that you've got going.
Yeah.
Here, but over the years you've just given like so many nuggets of wisdom and smart guy, keeping me motivated, helping me develop good habits.
Dude,
here's a new sample pack. Just take it.
You should do your own YouTube videos.
Well, then he responded, and I was like, notice me, senpai.
You fangirled. I've done that. I've been there. You tell yours first, and then I want to.
No, he just responded. He was like, hey man, I appreciate it, and I didn't respond because I was too cool. But
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Do you know Simon Wilson? He's a morning. He's a vlogger. He's a YouTuber that I oh my God, I'm like a huge fan of him. I've been watching him since he went to Disneyland. That was like 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. And so he goes to like all around the world and he tries to get into places for free. And he tries to do it sneakily, but like he does it for a good cause. So like he went to Disneyland, he tried to sneak into Disneyland and he succeeded, but he gave that ticket to like a kid or something like that. Like, so you see, he kind of turns it around, but like his videos are so motivating and like inspiring. And he just tries to, his whole message is like, you don't need money to go anywhere. Yep. Kind of like what that guy Scott was telling us the other night, like you don't need money, just do it, do it. And that's what Simon does. And I posted something and I tagged him in it on Instagram. It was like an Instagram story and he commented back and I was like, oh shit, Simon Wilson comment, that's dope, because he's in UK, like that's that to me was just like, what the fuck, that's dope.
The biggest hurdle to getting anything done that you actually want to get done is just getting off the couch.
100%.
Once you get off the couch, anything else is slightly easier.
Don't you feel guilty when you're playing video games sometimes?
I have learned to schedule my video game time. If I schedule it, time spent wasting is not wasted time.
Don't let Christina hear that.
I've been playing a lot of Ark, so.
You play Ark?
I have recently gotten into it.
So
the problem right now though is like
I played that before there was no extensions, no DLCs.
Oh jeez.
Yeah.
I'm still on the island.
Vanilla.
Yep. Well, my problem is I play it on the studio PC because like the CPU on the studio PC is a monster, and I got like 32 gigs of RAM.
You probably got great graphics.
No, not at all.
Really?
Because my graphic card is a potato.
Oh, you put all your money into the audio.
Yeah. Because
graphics,
if it's like an audio workstation, then it's like, okay, well, who cares?
Yeah.
I just needed a graphics card to get that processing for the display off of the CPU.
Do you have console, Xbox, PS?
Yeah.
Yeah, to get it on Xbox.
Oh, does it like run fine? On
yeah. Oh, beautifully. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Don't get me wrong. It trips you out at first because you're like, where the fuck? How do I build something? But like you press it, you get used to it.
Okay.
And you can still mod. You can still do the cheats and everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that.
Yeah,
then.
because like I played it up until Extinction. No. What was the one right before Extinction where it was all like
have no idea.
Glowy and neony and everything?
No idea.
I played that one, and that was when I was like, fuck building a base, cheat codes, because there's just a point, like.
I recently discovered that you can build on a raft.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you did. You can.
Base.
Do you know you can do it with the birds, the dinosaur birds?
I don't even have a dinosaur bird yet, dude. I am like
There's
such a Bob. You have no idea.
All right, so
I'm Beach Bob.
What's it called? It's the biggest dinosaur bird that you can get in that game, and you can build like a fucking like. Too much.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you can put a base with weapons on it, and people fight with them and shit like that. Take out bases. My bases. Oh my god. I used to play on a public server. Listen to this. Okay, little transition. Sorry. I played on a public server, and these trolls invited me to their guild, and then just fucked with me for a week straight. straight. At the end, this is like freshman in college. I swear to God, I almost had a fucking mental breakdown. These guys fucked with me. Like, they took it to a whole nother level of art. It was like an art form of fuckery. You know, like when people just meme with you and fuck with you?
Yep.
It was like that, but I went on the next day and everything I had was destroyed. And I literally was like, I didn't touch the game for a year.
Yeah, that's kind of like how it goes. I've been well, what made me really want to get into it was I was watching a lot of Wellen on YouTube.
Wellen, I don't know that.
He plays Rust.
Okay, I hate Rust. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't play Rust. I don't really like Rust either. But,
I got wrecked.
He the way he does his videos, he like it's almost like a let's play, but he like narrates it and crafts a story with it.
Oh,
so it's pretty good.
Like kind of old PewDiePie, like Mr. Chair.
No. Like he like legit like there's like cuts.
Oh,
and he like kind of creates like almost like I mean it's all like first person gameplay.
Right, but he's making a story within that game.
Yeah. Like,
oh, that's
and
cool.
Like he'll be like, you know, we went back to the base to gather or something our plan or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like he kind of like narrates certain sections.
Yeah.
You know, like he'll like die, and then like you know you'll hear like the real time like in game like oh I got shot, and then like narrator Willem comes on and he's like I was down, but this wasn't the end of it.
Did you ever watch
so
old
cool.
PewDiePie?
No,
He did stuff like that in a way. Like,
oh yeah.
Really, I mean, I was watching him way back. I'm talking like early high school. You know, when it was all skits, and he would play Amnesia, and he would make a skit in Amnesia, and he's like, you know, whenever you saw a chair, he'd be like, oh, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
You know, I love that, and I love when people do that. It just makes it more exciting. Like the virtual reality shit. Have you seen that?
His like VR stuff?
Games and yeah.
I haven't. I honestly haven't watched a lot of PewDiePie lately, just because I've been so obsessed with a lot of offline TV stuff of all things. Cause like
Offline TV.
So do you know Michael Reeves?
Michael Reeves. Hold on.
I built a surgery robot. Trigger me Elmo.
Michael Reeves.
Gas powered fishing pole.
No. Oh, did he? Yes, I know. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So the way that he's like the guy I was telling you about who like makes one video.
Fishing ball. I never seen that
Dude,
one.
it's hilarious. It's so good.
Okay.
But he recently moved into a Twitch streaming house. And
Okay.
so there's like I've just been
That's a
like,
thing.
Yeah, that's a thing.
That's what the hell is that about?
He just all
you
stream on Twitch.
Yeah.
Except Michael, who like spends most of his time in the garage apparently working on YouTube videos.
I watch
I say videos, but it's like singular. He only does like one video a month, but they're really good.
All right. Well, you know what? This is a perfect time. We could talk. We could talk for a long time. I'm just realizing that.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Now that you brought up Ark and stuff, I'm just like that brought up a whole other chapter in my level. Guys, we're gonna take a short little break. We're just gonna fill up on waters and stuff like that. Stay tuned. I'm gonna read the comments, and after we're gonna talk about some funny stories because he brought up the funny. You have a good. Kind of give an intro to that if you could about that fireworks story.
Oh, Corey and the fireworks. It's so we went to
a quick intro before we take a break. Don't.
No. We went to David's cabin in the woods, and there were fireworks, and it was great. I'll just leave it.
Okay.
I can't. I don't know. I'm not very good at teasers.
Okay, so let me try it. So we get invited to our friend's cabin, and it's in the middle of the woods, like fucking cabin fever. And long and behold, it's a college party, just completely gone wrong, pretty much, because there was a bunch of fireworks everywhere. Like
even Freddie was drunk.
Like the dude who had the house, literally, like if you open the fucking cabinets, there was just fireworks in the fucking cabinets. Pardon my French. There was a lot of F words right there. But like, eventually, when you mix college kids with alcohol and fireworks, stay tuned for later because that's what happens. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. All right, be right back, guys.
You gotta get the B-Rack back thing.
Yeah, I gotta try to do that. I don't want to take people's though. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because there's like Sonny. Sonny does like
Does that cut the
audio.
Yeah.
If you shut yours off.
turn this on.
Turn that on. Hello, hello. Ooh. I like the overlay.
I don't know why I like the studio mode.
Hey.
Okay, I think we're back.
I didn't even notice the overlay before. I'm gonna be dead honest.
Yeah, no, I spent some time working on that.
No,
I just gotta work on like because it's so far away. I like it so I can just do it with a push of a button.
Yeah.
You know, that's what that was for.
Yeah.
But it just got fucked.
Yeah.
So Jake, you reminded me of this story, and I kind of remember snippets of it.
Yeah. So
This is a very funny story.
So, as I was saying before, this was, what year was this? This was my
Freshman year.
senior year.
It was my freshman year, so our freshman years of college.
So, I think it was that summer. I still had the escort.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
I do remember that.
So it's a bunch of college kids, right?
Bunch of
out in the
college
woods, partying, right? And as you do, right? It's summertime, right? You know,
Oh, it was a beautiful night out. It was great.
Really nice,
it was
right?
really
Wicked
nice
nice.
out. And it was like a cabin. I remember when you showed up, it was literally a dirt road.
Yep.
You're literally in the bumfuck of nowhere. And like the cabin was
No
just
cell
like
service.
was just no cell phone service.
It's
a
like
great
Friday the
place.
13th.
Really
Yep.
a great place to murder a bunch of kids if you
yeah.
really thought about it. But like it was just this tiny little it was like it was a pretty small cabin, but it had a loft and everything. So
Yeah.
I had to just go into detail about
so
that.
it was a wonderful cabin, and like there was like a deck area, and it was just like I said, really really beautiful cabin, and of course we're all getting drunk, right? And as the night goes on, right, the host is kind of like, hey, maybe we should kind of start toning things down just a little bit, and was like, you need another drink, right?
Yeah.
So
poor man.
yeah,
The poor dude.
That poor dude.
I when I think about it, like he really was like it was getting like it was just slowly going like this, and he was like, guys, maybe because his grandparents were right down the street, weren't they? Like right next.
No, they were like way.
Oh, was it way
the
down
street.
there?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I remember him saying like that my uncle or something like that, like my cousins live like right down the street.
So for background, this was like his family cabin.
Yeah.
Right. This wasn't like just his cabin. This
No,
was like
this
a
is family.
sort of thing, right?
We weren't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Kind of like,
Well,
hey, we're giving you the keys to like just make sure nothing breaks into our cabin.
Can I have a couple friends over? Yeah, a couple friends is fine. Okay. And there was like 15 people there.
Yeah,
in a
15,
cabin
20.
15, 20 in a cabin that fits 4. So it was.
Oh my God, I do remember that. Yeah.
So we, the night started out, we were having a lot of fun, right? And things kind of got progressively crazier.
Music gets louder.
Music gets louder. I think at one point we were playing Jenga, like blackout Jenga.
Yeah, I do remember that. The big one. Was it the big one?
Yep.
Yep, I do remember that.
That was like basically it was a game where like it was custom. I don't know. It's just like a normal thing that people had.
We had it in college, so it was something that we kind of made. I mean, it was probably like a thing in other people's colleges, but like Apartment 57, we made it. We first started off with a small one. I don't know if it was a small one, but we just wrote stupid shit on the blocks.
Yeah,
and that's pretty much what you had to do. And then it just it was
it was like stuff like take 2 shots.
Some of them could have been like literally like. Some was like take 3 shots, take 4 shots, chug a beer.
First person that says "What's it say?" takes a drink.
Or there were some sexual ones, there were some kinkier ones, but usually when those happen, we all just kind of pass them.
Whatever.
You would pass them, because like we thought it'd be cool because like it'd be funny.
Pansies.
Yeah, Well, we also just want to see titties back then, but like I remember like it was really Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should throw in some titties in those, Okay, all right. Sure. It never happened though. It never happened. But and then after the Jenga, I just remember wasn't people playing music at one point?
Yeah. So there was a couple of us, because like a couple of us had brought like instruments.
Yeah,
and stuff.
I remember that.
So we were like kind of like playing music out on the deck for a little bit, and then.
Well, okay. So before you go into this, so there's a okay.
What do you remember?
So pretty much what comes down to it is, I guess I got blackout drunk, and because I remember I was drinking a lot, and what the biggest part of this is, you open the cabinets of every cabinet had fireworks. You looked under the bed, there were fireworks. You looked underneath the sink, there were fireworks in the bathroom, like little compartment, like there were just fireworks everywhere.
Yep.
Like, I don't know who this guy was. But government might want to just check up on this place. But to me, when you mix me with alcohol and I see fireworks, Yeah, you explain it because I.
Yeah, so what happened was I was kind of getting drunk at that point too, and I walk outside, right? And Corey, one of our buddies who was there, he goes, "Hey," he's like, "Where's Austin?" And then you just hear like this like a bunch of people like yelling in the background somewhere, and then everybody runs somewhere, and then those of you at home, do you know those mortars that you drop in the tubes and you like light the fuse and you run away?
It was like the big one. I remember that. It
Yeah,
was like
except
the really
you didn't
big
put
one.
it in the tube. So this firework explodes next to all the cars.
Wait, did I actually light one off?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I didn't remember lighting one
And I
off.
was like, what? And like everyone like looks over there, right? And we're all like, what? Austin. And you're like, no. And then, yeah, you lit another one in your hand and then you threw it between the cars.
Oh my god. Oh my god. And
Yep.
I do remember there was this one part where I remember how they like, you guys this is after, like, you guys brought me inside and you're like, all right, get this kid away from the fucking fireworks.
Yeah, so no, I will get there, right? So there was one that you lit in the middle of all the cars and then ran away, and then there was another one that you lit in your hand and tossed between all the cars, and at which point the host goes over and he's like, all right, he's like, hey, we're gonna go inside. Do you want another drink? And you're like, no, I'm good. No, do you want another drink? We'll get you another drink, right? He's like, come here, get another drink. I'll take a shot with you. And you're like, yeah, I'll take a shot.
Oh,
right?
I remember this.
Yeah.
I remember this.
And then
You
the
sly
host-
motherfuckers.
The host takes the fireworks, gives them to Corey, and he says, hide these, right? And this is where the story gets fantastic, right? He says, hide these, right? Corey's like half borderline
I feel
blackout
so
at
bad
this
for
point,
this.
right? Oh no, he'll tell this story himself, I promise.
Oh my god.
And he's like half blackout drunk at this point, right? And Corey's like, I got you, right? So the host takes you inside, right? You guys take your shot, whatever, right? Corey hides the fireworks. Everybody passes out, right? After the night, right? Next day, everybody gets up. This was actually when, I think that was the time where we woke you up with firecrackers.
Oh my god. Yeah, you did.
That was hilarious.
I loved you guys for that though, because I've always wanted to be woken up that way.
Yep. No, we
so
woke you
fucked
guys
up for
up.
me to say, but I remember not even being mad. I was like, "Aw, that's cool."
There was a couple seconds of rage.
Was there? I don't remember that.
Yeah, there was a couple seconds of
in my
rage.
mind. I remember just being like, well, I guess when I look back at it, when I think about it, I'm like, those are good friends.
Yeah. No, there was a couple moments of rage, and they were like, "What are you guys doing?" And we're like, "You were blackout drunk last night, throwing fireworks in everybody's car. This is what you get."
Oh yeah, so then
And you were like,
yeah.
and that's kind of how that went, right? So everybody like whatever. It was right around, what was it? I think.
It was summer. Right?
Well, yeah, it was summer. I was trying to think of like the time. It was right around like 1 or 2 o'clock, when everybody kind of started like leaving, right? And David's car, of all the people, the poor kid David, his car broke down that day. So he had to get that
I do
towed.
remember
You
that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Holy shit. Yeah, that was a
Yep.
nightmare. What was it that was broken? Do we remember?
I don't know.
Because I was going to say, like, I'm actually pretty good with cars.
Maybe it was a starter or something.
Oh, then never mind. Yeah,
But,
I remember that. You know, it was like karma was a bitch. The kid that hosted the party, like, the next day, his car just gave up. Like,
Yep.
it didn't want to go.
Yep. But David was going to take Corey home. And so, we said goodbye to everybody, right? And on the way out, the host is telling me, he's like, hey, thanks for your help with Austin last night. And I was like, I didn't do anything, but all right, cool, whatever, right? And so we leave, right? I drive Corey all the way home, right? And this is like, keep in mind, like 45 minutes away, hour away, right?
Yeah.
We're like talking, like whatever, right? During the car ride, right? He's hungover, I'm hungover. We're having a conversation. I pull into his driveway and he goes, oh no. And I said, what? And he's like, I had the fireworks last night. And I was like, yeah, but it was Austin that was, lighting them between the cars. And he's like, no. He's like, I just remembered David asked me to hide them.
Oh no.
And I was like, what, did you hide them? And he's like, no, I hid them. I definitely hid them. And he's like, but I hid them in the oven.
Oh my god, I remember that.
And then we were like, all right, well, he's like, should we go back? So we
Maybe.
texted the host. We're like, yo, listen, there's fireworks in the oven. Right?
Oh my God.
And the host gets back. He's like, all right. He's like, I left, but next time I run up there, I'll take him out. Right. Long story short, the next person at that cabin wasn't him. It was his aunt. And she went to preheat the oven, and then good thing she checked the oven because he was gonna bake some fireworks.
No way.
It was a whole thing, dude. It was a whole thing. He ended up getting kicked out of the cabin for like a couple of years, and he wasn't allowed in there at all. Yeah, it was a whole thing.
Oh, no wonder why David hated me for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, David, I really don't remember, man.
Yep.
So, believe it or not, it's funny that you know, and I've talked about drinking on this, and I don't drink anymore. I really don't. I really don't. Like, I got it out of my system, and I'm just like, I'll have like a couple beers. Like, I had a beer earlier, but believe it or not, what had happened was the fucking family downstairs almost blew up this entire building. So after, I mean, the fire department shows up, police show up. So my cat's is sitting here like, motherfucker left me. Wow. Like, you know, so I'm sitting out there for like 30 minutes, and I come back in, and I'm just sitting there. I start eating my brisk barbecue, my smoked brisket. I loved it. And then just out of nowhere, the fire alarm goes off again. I go, motherfucker. So I just go, my first instinct wasn't even go out. I literally just grabbed a beer and I sat back on my couch. I'm just like, I don't care anymore. I'm not, because I live on the third floor. So it's like, it's hard to, you know, it's a pain in the ass,
There's a lot of
man.
cardio going up and down those stairs.
It really is.
Yeah.
The other day, I actually cleaned my car. I told Christina I went up those stairs 10 times in like an hour span too.
Yeah.
That was rough, dude.
The worst cardio is unplanned cardio.
Yeah, it really is, you know. But oh man, that was funny, dude.
Do you remember the story of, I wasn't for this one, but I do remember the story.
Ooh.
This was another Blackout Austin drunk. Blackout Austin is a completely different character.
He was an asshole. He was
hilarious.
He was hilarious, but he was just
He was an asshole.
What, no, I was just a daredevil. I don't know how to explain it. Like, you couldn't stop me. Like, I could jump off. Like I said, I dislocated my jaw. I don't even know.
There was this story. You might actually remember the story, right? You mind if I tell the story?
Absolutely. Wait, yeah.
It's the door one.
The what?
The door one.
The door.
The knock knock one.
Go for it.
You
I don't remember this.
Okay, all right. It's not that bad. It is funny, but it's not that bad. So I want to say it was Corey, David, and maybe it was Jesus were walking back with you from like some frat party or something. Right,
Jesus is a friend of ours, by the way. We're not
Yeah.
crazy. I was just kind of like,
Jesus.
these guys are tripping.
Right. But they were you guys were walking back from some frat party or something, and you were like blasted, right? So they were just trying to get you home, and I guess there was this this one chick that like, I don't know why, but you decided you were gonna ding dong ditch her apartment door.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, and the milk?
No.
Was that another
That
time?
might have been a different time.
Oh, I do remember this.
This one doesn't involve milk.
This girl was rude. She would. It was in person right next door, right? It was a neighbor.
I think so. Maybe like the next one down or something.
No, it was
close.
no.
Was it the neighbor?
It was
You
literally his
probably know better
neighbor.
than I
It was
do,
his
yeah.
neighbor.
Yeah.
And that was the dumbest part about it because I was literally like right next door.
Yep. So you're walking down the street, right? And they're like, "All right, buddy, we're almost there." And you're like, "No, let's." We'll call her Melanie because I don't know her actual name.
Yeah.
And you were like, "No, I'm gonna ding dong ditch Melanie." And you're like, "Dude, she's not home." No. We're gonna. The lights on. We're gonna ding dong ditch her. She's not. It's like Christmas break or something. It's like, she's not home, dude. No. It'll just be real quick. So like David's like, fuck it. Let him do his thing. Like, whatever, right?
Like I said, you couldn't stop me when I was drunk. I was like, I'm fucking doing this.
So he's like, all right, just let him do his thing, right? And so you're like stumbling up to the door, right? And you're like, all right. And like David and Corey are like kind of standing there, you know, Jesus like out on the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like out at the street. And they're standing there like, all right, hurry this up. Realize you're a moron and let's go. and you're like, all right. I'm going to knock.
I remember
and
this.
then we're going to run. And then Austin and Corey, or not Austin, David and Corey are like, yep, all right, sure, yep. It's like, all right. I'm going to knock. And then we're going to run. Okay, yep, got you, yep, all right. I'm going to knock, and then we'll run. Yes, Austin, we get it, just knock. Okay, all right. And then we're going to, no, I get it. Okay, all right. And then you knock, turn around, hit a patch of ice, and fall flat
I do, yeah.
on the sidewalk.
Yep. I do remember that.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was my favorite drunk Austin story.
You probably don't remember this because I don't think you were at Apartment 57 because that's when you just started coming. Like you.
Yeah,
Apartment 57.
I missed the Halloween party.
Yeah, it's okay. It was too fucking wild. You probably saw the videos. I'm sure
it might have been. I saw some stuff in the movie.
Yeah, he needs to send that to me. That needs to be put on YouTube or something. Some parts need to be taken out, but the reason why I had this like weird burning hatred towards this poor neighbor was because they would always knock at like 2:00 in the afternoon on like a fucking Saturday and be like, we'd be practicing as a band. They'd be like, shut the fuck up. And it's like, dude, y'all getting turned anyways. Come on over and get turned. That's what we tried to do. And they'd just be like, they were upperclassmen. And they just didn't. They didn't like us. They didn't like that we're freshmen and in apartments. So, believe it or not, I don't know if you remember this, but there was a time where I did the same exact thing, and it was during winter break or something. But I took. David had like spoiled milk. He had like.
I haven't heard this story.
Yeah, he had spoiled milk, and I had been
sounds
drinking.
About right for Apartment 57.
And I had been. I mean, we were slapping the bag of wine. We were. It was like. You know, it was,
You had like flashbacks.
Yeah, so anyway.
Slapping the bag.
Slapping the bag, dude, yeah. Every time you walked into Apartment 57, we'd have a bag of wine. That's the cheapest fucking bag of wine. And you would be greeted with a bag of wine to immediately slap the bag. I remember we did that to you.
Yep.
And you passed, and you went surely long enough than we expected.
It was a bad time.
So yeah, we were drinking and everything, and the neighbor ends up like telling us to be quiet and everything. So the day goes on, we stop, and I get blackout drunk. And David had told me about the spoiled milk and everything. So in the back of my mind, I already knew what was kind of happening.
Right.
You know, like I already started like, I'm gonna. So I ended up what my plan was when I was sober was we should take that spoiled milk and dump it in like the snow around her. Like so it just smelt. So it just smelt bad. Okay. Now I'm just a dick. I know what you're thinking. I'm a dick. Right. But like this was 5 years ago or 4 years ago or whatever. I was a little bit younger. And so once the alcohol got into me, the whole idea changed. And when I went to go do it, instead of dumping it, I just smashed it. I don't even know how the motion happened, but I just remember just like doing this and it just smashed all over the front door. And I just run back in and David's like, what would you just do? And I go, nothing. Nothing. And then the neighbor ends up going outside like the next day and was like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? And David, he's such a nice guy.
Oh,
He's such a nice guy. And I was such a fucking asshole. But he goes out and it was my friend. And I'm like, hey, if I were you.
Here's the bus.
Even
Austin,
like David taught me one thing in life, to be a very honest motherfucker.
Yep.
He really, but like did you ever hear about the time where during a college party at UNH we went to, just going there, the party got busted up because all the kids were like, let's smoke weed in dorm. And David fucking was like, it was when the cops busted it and David was like, it was me.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
What a guy.
When that happened, literally a cape appeared on his back for me. Like literally, because with my record, it wasn't looking good for me right then and there. So I just remember though, because like it wasn't like it was his friends and everything, and he was like, "Hey, mind if we go to UNH?" And I was like, "Sure, fuck it, why not?" It was nighttime, it was partying time, so we're hopping to parties. Everything was good. We just went to this one. It wasn't his friend. It was like his friend's friend that he met in college. So they're like, "Come to our dorm." And it was a pretty nice dorm, but like you definitely could have been smoking in there.
Oh yeah.
No way, dude. There was not even a towel underneath the door. The window wasn't cracked. There wasn't. I have all the techniques. Oh, yeah. You know, like I was looking around and they had like a fire alarm and it wasn't even have a bag around it. And I'm just like, we're fucked.
Yeah.
We're fucked. And I looked at David. And I'm kind of looking at him like, I don't got good feelings about this. And the next thing you know, you hear a knock on the door and it's a fucking cop. And David just like, chill out, guys. I got this. And then he goes, it was me. And I'm like, oh, my heart, doctor. David, if you're watching, he is an amazing dude. And like, I just remember when I woke up that next day and like, I just hear him outside because like the window was open. I hear him tell his neighbor, it was my friend. And I'm just like I woke up and like, oh fuck.
Oh yeah. No, that's it's like, did I tell you about the first drink that Corey made me when I first went to 57?
I feel like I was there. I was definitely there.
You were definitely there.
I was definitely there. I was always there,
you
but
were
like
there.
I don't.
Because I sobered up while I was jamming with you.
No, I don't remember. This is apartment 57.
Yeah, it's apartment 57. Yeah, first time I went to apartment 57, right? And I walk in and you know, Corey's like introducing me to a bunch of people, right? And this is like super little introverted Jake. He doesn't really know anybody, anyways.
Oh yeah, you were really shy. You were shy.
And so he's like, "Oh, this is David. This is Jesus. This is Austin. Whatever. Blah blah blah." Right? And so he's like, "Oh, you want me to get you a drink?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I'm like, "What do you guys have?" And he's like, "Well, we're poor, so all we have is pink lemonade Zenka."
Oh my god, I remember that pink lemonade Zenka.
And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, "Sure, whatever. Right? I'll drink anything. I
Yeah,
don't care." Right?
hell yeah.
So he's like, "All right, I'm gonna make you a drink." I was like, "Okay."
You can't make a drink with that.
Kid comes back, giant green cup, right, filled to the brim, right. I take a sip of it, and it's like, I was like, "Whoa, okay." I'm like, "Hello,"
Yeah.
and I was like, "How much is in this?" And he's like, "I literally just put one shot in," and I was like, "He's like, yeah, it just Zenka, it tastes that bad."
Yeah.
And I was like,
it tastes like asshole.
"Oh, okay, right." So whatever, right? You know, I'm kind of sipping on it a little bit, whatever, right? Pretending to be cool. And then David comes over, right? He like introduces himself, right?
Yep.
Does his David host thing, right? Wicked nice guy. And then I remember he wanted to like show me like some of his guitars and stuff because we got to talking about gear. And then I was like, "Yeah, I'll go upstairs." And then I just like chugged the rest of this thing and then went upstairs. And then
Oh, I do remember this.
yeah, and
I
then,
do remember this.
About I want to say it was like an hour and a half, 2 hours later. It like all that alcohol just went through. I was like empty stomach, hadn't eaten all day, kind of sort of perfect storm.
It's called that's a college what's it called? That's your typical diet right there.
Yep, I had the experience of an afternoon of drinking in about an hour. And I remember sobering up about an hour and a half later, and I was jamming with you. And I was like, wow. I was like, I'm really drunk.
Trust me, we
Right?
all
Yeah.
are really drunk. We're very.
And then, no, you were like, "No, you're fine, dude." And Corey comes up, he's like, "How you feeling?" And I'm like, "I'm really drunk."
I do remember this
kid
because you were
later on-
sitting on the bed and you were playing and we're in. I do remember this.
And later on, I asked Corey about that, right? And I was like, "Wow, I guess I just could not hold my alcohol at that point." And he's like, "Oh no, I put like half the glasses."
He told me that. See, what you didn't know is because like when I saw you come in, I looked at Corey and Corey's like making you the drink, and I was like, he's gonna need a little more. You know, because
it's your fault.
dude, no, I've been there. Like, trust me, when I went to college, I was super shy, but like, I just tried to make something out of it, and like, I know what that was like.
Yep.
And like, no one likes drinking.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
It's
and
nasty stuff.
especially when I look back at it, the shit we were drinking, it wasn't fun and it wasn't delicious. So like,
Not at all. It's
but like,
literally bottom shelf.
but once you get it in you, you could like, dude, I feel like when you were into
so
parties, it was
crazy.
always a good time. Like it was,
yeah.
it was always funny as shit.
Yep.
And I don't know, there's some people like we had this, this is after I started, like 2 years after this, I was kind of like hanging out with different people and shit like that. There was this kid that he would just like be a really cool person sober, but like when he drank, totally opposite. Just
Really?
like almost like there was
Wow.
one time we almost had to call the ambulance because he just went to
Jeez.
he was just like non-responsive and we're just like
Okay.
you know. And that's the thing about college, is like some people can't hang, and like you could you just had this super kind of like a new superpower. You're just like, oh shit.
Dude,
You know,
it was do you remember the party at David's house where I got absolutely ridiculously drunk on just Corona?
I do
That must have been.
I do yeah
That was so long ago, and that Corona actually at that show that you played Monday.
Yep.
Was literally maybe it was Tuesday, whatever day it was.
yeah Monday. It was Monday.
That was the first Corona I've had since.
Oh my God, how awkward is that? Because
Oh, yeah, no.
you know, because I literally, okay,
time.
so for the people that don't know, so I was going around and I that's when I realized you were sitting there, and I'm
Yep.
like, oh my God, Jake.
Yep.
And then everyone, that my microphone was on, so everyone just looks at you, and then I'm just used to, I don't know, I'm not like, I'm like myself when I'm on stage. So I'm just like, Jake, are you drinking a Corona? And then everyone just like stops and looks at him, and I'm like,
Dude, I'll own it. I'll own it.
I was
Middle
like-
of an international pandemic. Yeah, you're right. I'll be drinking a Corona.
but I was like, all right, hi.
I'll do it for the memes.
Yeah, Jake, say hi to everyone. He's like, hi. And
Hi.
then I'm like, everyone say hi to Jake. And then all these random people are just like, hi, Jake. And you know what's even weirder is I was just saying earlier, and it was funny because you must have gone there right before this, but I was like, "Are there any Jakes here?" And I'm like, "I must be."
No, I wasn't here for that.
Oh, I was like, "It must be bad, because you probably get Jake from State Farm all the time."
Dude, I went back to see David
Really?
last night.
Yep, I saw it on your post.
Yeah, because I was meeting my dad there, and I walked up to the bar, and they were like, "Oh, you're back again," and I was like, "Yeah," and they're like, "What was the name on the tab?" Jake. I'm like, "But if there's another Jake here, you can put on like Zane or whatever on his crazy name."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Nope, you're the only one," and I'm like, "Wow, that's rare."
Yeah. No, for me, it's like I get Austin Powers, Austin, Texas. I hate
Jake
it.
the Snake, Jake from State Farm. What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm? Your joke's not funny, and you should feel bad.
If there's a bridge nearby, but what? No, I don't want to. There's like some stories that we have that I have to share with like.
Oh, you could tell him the shed story.
The shed. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that was a funny time. That's what I want to talk to you about. So there was a time where my band Apartment 57, which we went to, we were Jesus and the Panty Droppers. Then we went to.
Dude, that's such a great name.
It was a great name. It was a great name. The only reason why we had to change it though is because one gig, the art department caught on us and they stopped booking us, which was our main gig, because of our name.
Lame.
Because of our name, they said because Jesus is like religious,
Right.
but like Jesus.
Panty Droppers.
What you didn't know was Jesus was our drummer. That was his nickname. Jesus was our drummer.
Dude, it was a great name.
Yeah, it was a fantastic name. And every time someone said, "And now Jesus and the Panty Droppers," yo, we own that shit. We actually started to design a front of the drum cover,
Yeah.
and it was going to be like the legs and then the panties, and it like fit perfectly. Like we made it so it became the words and everything. So the panties were like J and everything. Yo, it was like really like we were just
that's
about to do
funny.
it. And then this gig, we just played at the art department, and that's where we get our tips and shit. And they were just like,
Right.
"Yeah, we can't." So we named it Apartment 57, and then
Which is a cool name.
I like that. It was just, it's subtle,
Yep.
Apartment 57.
Absolutely.
And it wasn't like, yeah. And then we went to Sasquatch, and that's when we just took way too much psychedelics. That's pretty much the truth of it all. We just went full on Beatles when they went into like Sgt. Pepper and all that stuff. And we invited Jake. We invited you over because
this was I think I know. Oh no, never mind. You're right. This is a different story. You're good.
Is this when we had the organ?
Yes.
Okay, so we started.
yeah.
We were really influenced by the Doors and the Grateful Dead and Fish, and and Corey, he's all about Fish. So like,
Which is funny because Corey was the one person that was opposed to the organ because he had already gone on his organ journey.
Yeah. And remember, were you there when we got the organ?
I was there when
Yeah.
I
Okay.
went
So
with you guys.
okay. I was just I'm trying to
yeah.
remember because it was. I haven't talked about this stuff in a long time.
Yeah.
But that was an amazing journey. That
was an
really
event.
sketchy.
Yeah.
When you think about it, like it was just like an old dude, and like you just found out like his wife or something like that, his mom died in that building.
It was like his mom or his dad.
Yeah,
or something
and it was just like super weird and everything. And he was being like, "You want to rent this place out?" And we're just like,
no.
"No, you mean the building that you just told us your fucking dad just like? That's horrible. That's horrible. No, I'm all set, man. Oh my god, it was interesting though. I mean, like, but so we had this party where we just got the organ. We really wanted to influence the organ into the
keys
music.
Didn't work, but no one cared.
Hey, I actually ended up fixing it, believe it or not.
Yeah, no,
I did.
remember
I
that.
did fix that.
Yeah.
I had to take the chips out, and I had to. It's pretty easy. It's actually really easy stuff. They have like perfect slots and everything. You just have to blow on them and they're fine. It's like a Nintendo 64 game. But like we invite you over one night, and for those of you that don't know, we used to have these pretty much college parties, just like the cabin, but instead we take 25 to 30 people
Put them in a 10 by 10 shed.
and put them in a 10 by 10 shed. Meanwhile, a band's playing in that shed. Just kind of imagine.
It was great.
It was great. It got hot as shit though. Oh my god.
we were all drunk, so we didn't care.
You didn't care, but once you stepped outside, you're like, "Oh Mother Mary, oh Mother, that feels wonderful," So we're playing and we're all getting drunk, and like there's a bunch of people there. Actually, I don't think there was a lot of. I think it was just you there and a few.
No,
maybe,
it was like
3 other people.
I think that night, not including the band, there was maybe like 5 or 6 people there.
Yeah, it was a smaller night.
It was a smaller night.
It was a smaller night. I think it was like what we call like a rehearsal night. And you're drinking wine, I think you were drinking.
So my night started with Corona, and then it turned into
3 different things.
3 different things. Yeah, the liquor before beer, except after whiskey, except that there was also vodka, and Yeah.
It was rough.
And wine.
It was rough. I'm not gonna lie.
Where does real quick, not to sidetrack you, where does wine sit in the liquor before beer conundrum?
You just, if you're mixing, so say if you had like Corona and you went from beer to liquor, don't add wine. Just never do it. If I've learned anything, and I've said this to people, never mix wine once you've been mixing, because it just fucks you up.
That was the only time I drank wine, and I still don't like wine to this day.
Yeah, like I don't really drink wine. The only kind of I really don't because of those days. Really, do you ever? Sorry to sidetrack, but do you remember the time that Corey slapped a bag on a Monday?
No.
Slept like the whole bag of wine?
No.
You didn't? Oh, boy.
No.
That's the story.
Was this the one where his pants ripped? I'll let him tell that story.
Yeah, so maybe you should come on for Corey, because that would be a fucking hilarious time, honestly.
I'll just sit here and let him
No,
go.
we'll be like fucking Tom Segura. He has like 3 people sit in and just shoot the shit. Like, I think that'd be hilarious, because you'd probably... Clearly, there'd be times where you remember more than I do, because...
Yeah, I was normally the most sober person there, which isn't saying much.
Wait, because like, I don't drink like this at all. So was I pretty much like the guy that once you gave him like liquor, he was an animal? Like, you was just gonna fuck shit up? Oh man, if I could just talk to myself, if I could just go back in time, just relax, breathe.
Yep, no, that was pretty much
funny times,
drunk
man.
ops Austin. But so
okay,
10 people in a 10 by 10 shed.
So 10 people in a 10 by 10 shed, and we're playing, and we're looking at Jake, and you're not looking too good, and we're purposely we're looking at each other like we're scientists performing on a fucking guinea pig. We're like, what could we play that could make this kid barf?
Dude,
like,
at this
literally,
point, I'm like literally leaning over a trash can.
There was a point where, because Corey was playing fucking like minor to diminish to like it just was not good.
It was not good.
And then with the organ, I was like doing bass. I was trying to do shit. It was not good. And then Jesus was probably the only one that was good.
Playing like polyrhythms.
Yeah, he's just going like
everything that could have been out of key and off time was.
That's what, and like legitimately, that's what we were trying to do. Like, we literally purposely were looking at each other and purposely doing it on purpose, and then you just fucking, like, exploded. Yep. Like, I think there was a time where you run outside because you couldn't even handle it anymore. You're just like, fuck this. Yeah. What was that like for you? Was that, like...
So I vaguely remember it.
Like, legitimately.
I remember actually slapping the bag. Yep. Which is how that whole thing started.
Yep. You always slap the bag in college.
I remember... being over the trash can, and I was like, I asked, I think it was Corey, I was like, yo, can you guys play something else? You're gonna make me throw up. And he goes, that's the plan. Just keeps playing. And I was like, fuck you guys.
Like, did it feel like Willy Wonka when you're going in that boat ride and shit just got really weird?
No, because even then, there's like a sense of like cohesion.
Yeah.
There's like something makes sense. Yeah. This is trying to sound off-putting. This is just noise.
Oh man.
And then I remember throwing up, and then I remember somebody else somebody else cheered.
No, we all cheered because we were like, dude, we just made something happen with the power of music. Like because we're all music majors. Well,
except me.
No, yeah, but like you're still a music guy, so we still include. We thought you were, technically you're a music major, and but like all of us, we were just like, oh my god, we should do this more often. Corey wanted to do that at Jake. The party. No. He wanted to do that at the party.
All right. Listen, if there's ever a reason for you guys to watch the next episode, that's a reason. Corey, that's Corey's story.
When Corey Hale comes to the podcast, he is going to bring quite a story that
The Legend of the Moth.
It literally is like I tell Christina, and I've told her brother it because like you guys went to the same school. Oh, yeah. Her brother knew about it.
Yeah.
When
dude, there's random people I'll meet today. Random people.
Same.
And I was like, yeah, they're like, oh, so what kind of stuff did you like play? Oh, well, I just kind of like hung around. I was like now I know. Oh, did you know Jake Troy's party? What party? The Moth party. Oh. Yeah. That's how people know this. This happened years ago. And
I don't want to give too much away, but it was nuts, man. And like
the one with the tow trucks.
When I went to her house. And her brother was like getting to know me. He was like, "Are you the kid that was at that party?" And like I was like, "How old are you? Like how did you hear about that?" And Christina goes, "Dude, that was like the biggest thing that happened in this town."
Oh yeah.
I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Are you fucking kidding
And
me,
I
dude?
missed it.
Oh my god!
I had
Why?
to
Why
work
did
the
you?
next day.
Oh yeah, you'd work the next day.
And so
remember
I
that.
literally showed up. I helped you guys set up, and then
Which was
we
a
all,
bitch.
Which was a bitch.
Okay, dude,
I let you guys borrow 2 lava cables. Only got one of them back. To this day, the other one's just lost to the cosmos.
Yeah.
But I consider that my small sacrifice to the.
I can't tell you how many things I've lost, dude. There was a time I used to take my college
Oh,
deposits.
yeah.
Like every semester, the college gives you money, and I get
Yep.
like $3,000, but I would never spend it on supplies. I'd buy shit on
Supplies.
Sweetwater or Guitar Center.
Supplies.
You know, yes,
Sounds like
supplies.
supplies.
It sounds like supplies. Like I literally, when I showed up to the fucking school like mail, it was in the middle of the hub, and this woman's like, "This is for you. This is for you. This, what the fuck did you buy? A body is for you." And I had to get the big mail cart, and I had a huge thing, and I had Corey help me, and Corey's walking like it's fucking crazy. You know, like when Corey gets really excited, he does that like.
Yeah, Corey's a gearhead.
Yeah. So we're all, because he helped me order the shit, because I was like, what would be good, you know? And I didn't fucking care. I had the money. I'm just like, let's fucking spend it all.
Yeah.
Never told my parents. So if my parents see this, you don't know. You don't know, okay? That's why I'm here. You know? Jake, it was a great time to have you on today.
Yeah,
Thank you
absolutely.
so much for being my first guest, and to hopefully have you on again.
Yeah, we'll be around.
Yeah,
sometime.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Quickly, just look into this camera, and you can give them your plugs and everything.
Yeah, so
Not butt plugs,
this is the
but-
part of the show where Jake is a shameless shill. So of course I go by Jake. So if you actually, the best place to follow me is going to be Instagram, at JakeB_Gramafone. I try to post, like, for anybody who does like hip hop, I try to post like a beat once a week. I've also actually started doing acoustic covers, like live acoustic covers, once a week as well. And then of course I got a Facebook page that I never check. I got a YouTube, Gramafone. That's where I post like pretty much all the beat videos. I got a Jake Bartolin page also that I never check. I got a lot of like miscellaneous pages, but Instagram's pretty much going to be the one that you're going to want to check. You can also check out my website.
Hey.
I think it's gramophonebeats.com. I want to say
It's nice to have a website.
yeah, and also, you know, if you guys are looking for mixing, mastering, whatever, mastering doesn't matter. I don't care what anybody says. You know, that's pretty much my scope of work is anything to do with digital audio. Hit me up if you need something.
Even being just a good like accountant, like just like someone to help you out with. If you need re-imaging work, you know, if you're a musician that's trying to get like you have an image in your head, you're really good with that. You're organizing and saying, all right, well maybe you should do this and do that, and you know, you're really good with that. You get good advice. You know, there's some people that give shit advice, but you're very good with it. You're really
Thank
good.
you.
So
Yeah.
guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys for all the comments. I really do appreciate that. I'm sorry if I missed any. Really, it was just my mom. So thanks, Mom. There's some in between. But I just see that the last one is my mom. So thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Thank you, Austin's mom.
And we will see you. I will see you guys tomorrow. And stay tuned for more stuff. So have a good one, guys. Take it easy. Boo.